Let's go. You already know what time it is. Your boy Arthur Moats here, and I got the panel back. Come on, man. You know that distinguished panel, man. I'm talking about the doctor, right? No, not just any doctor, the PhD doctor, the real doctor. I'm talking about Dr. TaNeisha in the building from @Really Flawed YouTube channel. Always a pleasure to see you. And of course, we are joined by not just anybody. No. This is just any producer, TaNeisha. You know, this is the Emmy award-winning WRAL Channel 5 producer in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Bergin. Got a hand clap. You on the front end of this thing, Mark. All right, shout out to you, man. Congrats also, man, on your Emmy award, man.
Thank you. It's a lot of teamwork over at the station and a pretty serious story that we won on, improving foster care in the state of North Carolina. A lot of kids that I don't mean to start this on a morbid note, but lost their lives and shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And our coverage has led to some change here in the state of North Carolina, change some state laws. So it's a tremendous honor, even to get nominated, let alone to win. I don't have my trophy yet. I'm excited to see the hardware, but it's the byproduct of a lot of teamwork. So thank you.
No, man, happy as heck for you, man. Like I said, when I saw that, it was like, yo, we got to shout the homie out on the front end of this thing, man. Because like you said, that's big time. And to know that it was for, you know, an impactful story like you were just breaking down, I mean, that to me just adds layers to it as well, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it feels good to hear that said out loud. Arthur, got a lot of really nice texts, a lot of really nice messages today, but enough about me. This isn't about me. This is about we. It's about us. Let's get into this tonight.
Can I just say something though, too? I think like Moats, you do such a good job with like introducing me and introducing Mark. So I just wanted to take a minute and introduce everyone to you. So our amazing host, our amazing collaborator, our amazing centerpiece, the one that grounds us, the one that brings us all together, the Arthur Moats. He was in the NFL 9 seasons. Okay, he has a total of 136 solo tackles, 16.5 sacks. This is Arthur Moats, everybody. Welcome to the show. He is our fearless leader. We are here for you as well. So thank you for being here, and thank you for welcoming us.
Yes, TaNeisha, let me piggyback off this too. He played for a few NFL teams you might have heard of. The Buffalo Bills, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Arizona Cardinals. You might have heard of these teams. They're in the NFL.
Are y'all done?
Yeah,
and you can
like
also see him. You can see him on television in Pittsburgh too. Don't forget that, TaNeisha.
On Fox. You can actually see him on TV on Fox in Pittsburgh. So I am just saying, like, you know, while we're here doing the shout outs, we also want to shout out you as well. So thank you for being here also.
Look, I appreciate y'all interrupting the show, for this is nonsense. We weren't even supposed to be talking about that. Look, this is about highlighting y'all. And now we talk about what the people want to hear, not anything about me, okay? I'm just the guy. I'm just the guy.
You're the guy that makes the engine go. You're making the engine go.
I'm sandwiched between a doctor and an Emmy award winner, all right? So just let me be the guy. I just want to be the guy, all right? It's cool to be the guy. Yeah. But kudos to both of y'all, though, man. And honestly, I do appreciate y'all trying to send some of this, you know, y'all dominating right now, right? All this greatness y'all got going on. Y'all trying to push some of it over here. So I appreciate what you're trying to do, all right? But I'm not taking away your moment, all right? So shout out to y'all.
Thank you, Mark.
Let's go. Now, with that being the case, man, we got plenty that we're going to get into tonight. And I am so excited. But I first wanted to, you know, backtrack a little bit, right? We know, obviously, Super Bowl happened. But prior to the Super Bowl, we did get our 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. And since, you know, I do know y'all in my age group, that means that y'all and me all grew up kind of watching, knowing, and hearing these names. So I think it is cool that we actually get a chance to, you know, talk about some of the people that we grew up kind of watching and stuff like that, and seeing them get their flowers now. But for, you know, the list for the guys that did make it, all right, it's a little bit of a smaller class this go around as well, with it being only 5 players that got inducted to the Hall of Fame. But first up, man, the marquee name was Drew Brees. We obviously know he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, man. Shout out to Drew Brees. Drew Brees, gotta love him, right? Larry Fitzgerald, man, he's also a first ballot Hall of Fame guy. one of my former teammates just add to my Hall of Fame teammates, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. But shout out to Larry Fitzgerald, man. We obviously know that is Mr. Professional, Mr. Score a touchdown, hand the ball to the referee, act like you've been there before. And he did that a lot of times. Then after that, man, a guy that I personally thought should have been a first ballot guy, but he got in on the second go around. Luke Kuechly, we know that was one of the baddest linebackers through all the 2010s, man, down there in Carolina, man, making a ton of noise with his play. Then from there, you get the all-world Super Bowl champion leg, Adam Vinatieri, man, on his second opportunity to make it into the Hall of Fame. He also got that induction. And then last but certainly not least, man, from the senior element, we had Roger Craig, man, the old school San Francisco 49ers running back, man, 3-time Super Bowl champ, one of the OG Christian McCaffrey type dual threat runners and receivers out the backfield. That's the initial class. So get your initial reactions to that, man. How did y'all feel about these names, man? The people that did get the inductions to the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I was really excited for Larry Fitzgerald. I was really excited for him because I thought he would get in, but I didn't know if he would be first ballot. And I felt like he deserved that. So when I saw that, I was so happy. And I double checked. I'm like, wait, is this his first time? Because I was just really excited for him to have that moment, for him to get in. I feel like he's one of those people that a lot of people debate from time to time, like if he should or will he or not. So I was really excited to see him. And then freaking Adam Vinatieri. You know, I can recognize greatness and still be annoyed by a guy.
Let's go.
He is that for me. That's just how I feel. I'm not going to change my mind. But shout out to all of them. Those were kind of like my immediate thoughts about seeing the class. Drew Brees doesn't surprise me. You know, like everybody else, just kind of cool. I was like, okay, par for the course. But I was really excited for Larry Fitzgerald. And then when I saw Vinatieri, I was like, I felt like I got triggered for a minute. But that's okay.
Let's go. Talk to me, Mark, man. How's my Emmy Award winner, man?
I want to start with Fitz. I'm also glad he got in first ballot because his quarterback play, like I know Carson Palmer and Kurt Warner, but then check some of the other years and he was still putting up crazy numbers. Like when we look back on this and you think greatest receivers in the game, I feel like he's forgotten about a lot of times, but if he had a good to very good to elite level quarterback throughout the duration of his career, what could have been also a one jersey guy where he plays his entire career for the Cardinals. That's not something that you see all that often. Consummate pro. I don't have enough good things to say about Larry Fitzgerald. Very deserving. I thought it was great. Randy Moss was the one who greeted him when he found out the information that he was going to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So like right then and there, he deserves his flowers. He does. I'm looking at Drew Brees and it's like, if he's first ballot when Ben is on his first go round next year, if Brees is first ballot, Ben has to be a first ballot Hall of Famer next year too, right? Like that's kind of how I'm looking at this from the jump. If you just want to talk specifically about on-field play. And another thing with the Hall of Fame, too, when we talk about next year's class, and we can go through the list of who's eligible next year for the first time. Remember, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, unlike the Baseball Hall of Fame, does not have a character clause in it. So when a guy like Antonio Brown is up for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, whether that's actually true or not is actually going to come to fruition. Now, I'll say this. I think the Pro Football Hall of Fame does the best job of getting it right. Basketball puts everyone in. I don't know who's in terms of baseball, where like Barry Bonds and McGuire and Sosa aren't in, but players like Harold Baines are. It's never made sense to me. I think the Pro Football Hall of Fame is probably the best one that gets it right. But you're going to have some really honest, tough, difficult conversations to have next year because there's a lot of players that are very, very deserving that become semifinalists and finalists. But because there's a limited number of who specifically you can put in, it's just so competitive. I mean, the guy I think of from Pittsburgh's standpoint, and I'll land here, that still isn't in, that should be, L.C. Greenwood, and I know Steelers fans know this. L.C. Greenwood had 4 sacks in a Super Bowl. If you have 4 sacks in a Super Bowl, you essentially win the game for your team. And he's not in the Hall of Fame here still. even despite the fact that he dominated in the 1970s. So that just goes to show you how difficult it is to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm rambling a little bit too much, but Arthur, hop in here.
Listen, I love the fact you brought up LC Greenwood, man. He is for sure a guy that is long overdue. Mr. Gold Shoes, if you know, you know. When I look at this list, though, man, I don't have a lot of surprises. I am very happy to see Larry Fitzgerald get the first ballot nod. For me personally, that was probably like, of these players and just of NFL players in general, he was probably the first one that I could say I kind of like watched since he was like a little kid, when they would show the clips of him being the ball boy for Chris Carter and Randy Moss. Like literally watching and seeing that from there to him being at Pitt, right? Every time you score. And it was the old school Pitt, right? Not the royal blue Pitt. They had like the old school Navy on them, right? And it was like, man, just seeing him always score touchdowns versus whoever and hand the ball to the referee. Then you watch him at the combine. It's like, man, he just always had this professionalism about him, man. And I just remember watching him, seeing him on the cover of video games. Then, like you said, you watch him in the league, you watch him in the Super Bowl. I get a chance to go out to Arizona to be his teammate, watch how he works, watch how he prepares. And it's just like, dude, it's just crazy to see it. And now for it to get the true recognition that I felt it deserved, which is being a first ballot Hall of Famer. We say, man, all Hall of Famers, well, at least the Hall of Famers say that they're not created equally, right? We got the first ballot guys, and then you got kind of everybody else that gets in. To me, when you talk Larry Fitzgerald, whether you're talking statistics, whether you're talking off-field impact, whether you're talking the one jersey type of guy, and then when you look at the quarterbacks, which Mark brought up, it's like, man, how could this guy not be a first ballot guy? So for me, man, love to see that. Love the Drew Brees getting in there as well, man. To me,
can we stay on Fitz for just a second, Arthur? Let me hop
Mm-hmm.
in here. 17-year career as a wide receiver. He has more tackles, 41, than drops, 29. That's unbelievable. And with Fitz, go back and look at that 08 team. The playoff run he had, and he and Kurt Warner almost stole the Super Bowl from the Steelers. There was no one who could stop him during that playoff run. As good as you can play the receiver position. I'm sorry, I had to add that in there, man, before we go and talk about some of the other players. Yeah,
I'm just glad that we get a chance to like talk Larry Fitz, man, because to me it's like, man, I fear with bigger name guys like Larry, like Brady, like Big Ben, Troy Polamalu. It's like we've talked to voters where they've said, yeah, I didn't think that we needed to vote for him because I figured everybody else was. And it's like, no, dude, don't play that game with these players, man, because that's how you get the weird stuff that happens. So for me, it's hard for me to take it for granted that a guy's going to be first ballot when I heard that before the Terrell Owens situation, right? Because we would all agree, if there is no behavior clause, how the heck is Terrell Owens not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's, we're going to talk a little bit more when we get to the Belichicks and the Crafts of the world that didn't get in.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, what's the precedent that we're trying to set going forward with some of this? Because from my perspective, the Pro Football Hall of Fame is the best one. I think it has the most integrity with it, where it doesn't allow the outside noise to influence their decisions. Whereas when we look at baseball, like you said, the Greenies era of baseball is completely fun, but yet we hold the Barry Bonds and the Sammy Sosas and the Kurt Schillings of the world, and it's like, hey, man, no, you guys are evil. But we're like, well, what was the Greenies? Like, yeah, we would all agree that that's that, right? So what am I missing here? What's the disconnect? So with that, it's like, man, to see that the Pro Football Hall of Fame got it right this time, I do also love that. Now, TaNeisha, I got to get on you. Oh, I got to get on you. Okay. I love the fact that you are so honest about Adam Vinatieri. She said, yo, he's good. He's dope. I know it. I already get it. But at the same time, I don't like him. And I love it. I love that. Trust me, I do, man, because we could all relate to that feeling, right? It's like, man, that's a player that, yeah, we don't necessarily love, but yo, he was a killer. He was one of the most clutch kickers of all time. You think about what he was doing in the Super Bowls, man, countless. It's like, dude, I just remember, man, the convo between Adam Vinatieri and Vanderjagt, right, with the Colts. And it was like, man, which kicker is the better kicker? Yeah. It was like, man, how do you not pick Vinatieri when you keep seeing him time and time again do this?
In the playoffs.
In the freaking snow.
The biggest stage. It's like, man, no matter how you feel about the Patriots, no matter how you feel about specialists, it's like you can't unsee that.
Mm-mm.
And as a guy that truly values all three phases, when people try to minimize the role of kickers, when people try to talk about them as if they're an afterthought, and it's like, how can we say that when we can point to Chris Boswell's impact with us? We could talk about Gary Anderson, right? Now, when we look at Adam Vinatieri and what he was doing for Tom Brady and the Patriots, it's like, how do you tell that story of the Patriots dynasty without talking about Adam Vinatieri? So for me, I just love the fact that, once again, if we're going to have a Pro Football Hall of Fame and we truly value all three phases, Devin Hester, right? Watching him get, it's like,
Devin Hester's a good one. Yeah.
right. It's like, man, there's certain ones where it's like, yo, this can't be a debate. These guys belong in that hall for it to continue to maintain that reverence that it has. So for me, I truly like enjoy that, even though I can 100% understand where you come from, TaNeisha. I can
like,
understand
fine. In there, fine. But even the Super Bowl. Yeah, even the Super Bowl, right? I mean, literally, at some point, I was like, the kicker has to be the MVP of this game, right? Because he's the
heavily
only
in the
person
conversation.
scoring points. Literally, the only person the whole half that scored points. So, anyway,
TaNeisha, if I remember correctly, our last playoff win, Boz scored all them points.
Yeah,
Kansas
that's
City.
what I'm saying.
Is about to say, if I remember correctly, Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even let's just take it to the opposite side, though. Even the punters. I think the punter for the Seahawks also kept them in that game because the field position, I mean, what was it, like 3 or 4 punts inside the 5?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's insane. So I feel like the specialists are kind of like the offensive line sometimes, or they're just taken for granted. You're just supposed to make your field goals. You're just supposed to punt well. So we don't
They remember
talk
if you
about
miss.
them. Right. And so it's like,
So
what a great, I just thinking about the Super Bowl. I'm like, the Super Bowl alone highlights literally the kicker and the punter more than probably any game I can think of in recent memory because they literally were doing everything.
All right, let me stir the pot to get the Yinzers going here in the chat. Let me do this. Do both of you just not think that it's hilarious? Adam Vinatieri is going to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame before Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft.
Hilarious.
What?
I think I want to know, does that mean that they're not going to put in Tom Brady? Like,
where do we draw the line? TaNeisha, where do we draw that line? Where do we draw that line?
Because if you're taking away what did they win? 5 Super Bowls, 6, whatever it is. If you take away their 5 or 6, if you take away their 6 Super Bowls, then that means you have to take them away from Brady too, right? So
Brady still has one in Tampa then at the very least.
But are those numbers alone good enough to get him in first ballot Hall of Fame?
I understand what you're saying, TaNeisha. I just think it's absurd. I do think ridiculous. It'd be great. We could put Brady, Belichick, and Kraft all on at the same time. And I know that there's been gamesmanship. It's been petty of who deserves the credit for the Patriots dynasty. I mean, that's ultimately what all of this comes back to. But like with Belichick, let's just take Belichick for just a second here. If we're talking about the Mount Rushmore of greatest coaches, close your eyes. Who are the greatest NFL coaches? Vince Lombardi, Belichick, Bill Walsh, Shula.
Come on, man.
Those 4.
Full stop.
That's who you think of. Maybe Tom Landry's in that conversation. Okay. Right. But those are like
he's
the
not
4 generally you think of.
Yeah. I was about to say, even with Landry, it's like, that's a nice, like, bring him up, but who are we taking off of that top 4 also? It's like, I ain't moving them up. Right. Who? Shula?
I need somebody to explain to me why he didn't get in. Why did Bill Belichick not get into the Hall of Fame? I actually need an explanation to that one.
Because for me, I look at it like this. If we're going to say that Spygate, if we're going to say that Deflategate is to that degree, then going forward, you have to make sure that this is anybody that was a part of that. I look at Rob Gronkowski. Was Gronk not heavily... absolutely. We're looking at all of these and it's like, well, what's the messaging? Is this just a one-off? Because now it looks intentional and it's almost personal, which now once again goes back to the integrity of what are we doing? If you can't vote without having your personal vendettas, then you do need to be removed from this position.
Or when they asked what was it, Bill Polian, and they asked, and they
Yes.
said, "Did you vote for him?" And he goes, "I don't remember." If you
Yeah,
don't
it's
remember how
like-
you voted, you shouldn't be voting.
You shouldn't be voting.
You should
Yeah.
never vote
That's
again,
insane.
ever.
Oh,
That's simple.
I'm not
Never
sure.
vote again.
I don't
Yeah.
remember if I voted for Belichick into the Hall of Fame. And like,
Nuts.
You should never vote
thing
again.
Nuts.
The thing when you're, let me put my reporter hat on for just a second here. When you're a reporter, you just have to report what the person's saying. But it's just like, and you have to take them at their word. But come on, are you serious? There's
Yeah.
no pushback. And then if there's pushback, oh, well, you can't ask the owner, or you can't ask coach or the GM that question because you'll have fear of having your access revoked. It's ridiculous. If you don't remember how you voted, you should be called out to the high heavens. And I know at least on
Absolutely.
social media, people were like, what is going on? Oh, I'm pretty sure that I did. How are you not certain?
He didn't.
I need to
then.
know.
He didn't.
Right. You
My
know
thing
it.
is, I would
Ridiculous.
respect it more if somebody came out and said, I didn't vote for him because of this.
Yep.
You know what? Cool. I respect that. Be honest with me. Don't lie to me. Don't manipulate me. Don't make me think something that's not true. Just own it. You didn't think he deserved it because of Deflategate, whatever you want to list. And you know what I will say? Okay, cool. I don't agree with your opinion, but I can respect it.
Yeah.
But you acting like you don't know who you voted for? Come on, bro.
TaNeisha, to your point too, and Arthur, you brought this up earlier when Troy Polamalu was up for the Hall of Fame, and Peter King openly admitted that he didn't vote for Polamalu because he knew he would get in. How in what world is Troy Polamalu not
Unacceptable.
universally, unanimously a Pro Football Hall of Famer? There's
Unacceptable, man.
Talk to any of his teammates, talk to anyone who played against him, talk to anyone who has one eyeball and watched during that era of who is the best player on the 05 and 2008 Steelers that won Super Bowls and the 2010 team that went to a Super Bowl game. Polamalu, straight up. So it's like, I at least give Peter King credit for openly admitting that he was the one who did that. But it's like, for as smart as he was for so many years, why Polamalu wasn't universally 100% in is just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's like, we might have to have a conversation of like, again, I do think that the Pro Football Hall of Fame gets it right compared to the other two Hall of Fames. But in terms of what the process is for all of that, it might be time to have an open and honest conversation about that. I'm going to give the Pro Football Hall of Fame this, though, compared to at least basketball. A Hall of Famer truly is a Hall of Famer when it comes to football, of someone who like really changed the game. Whereas like basketball, where it's like, if you made an impact, sure, we're just going to put you in. And I get that it's a hall. I get that it's a museum. I get that it's, supposed to show what history was. But to me, it's supposed to show greatness. Who is truly elite? Who is truly game-changing? Who is truly dynamic? And it's like, and this is why I get so passionate about it. With Belichick and Kraft, though, not getting in, it's just like TaNeisha, I'm with you. It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah. I get, and this is the part that it really hurts let's keep everybody involved in this thing. It's like, man, when you hear these arguments and you hear why they make certain decisions that they're making, or like you said, man, Bill Polian, hey man, I don't remember. It's like, well, if y'all guys aren't like former dudes that balled and played, man, why do you have this access? Because you guys have too much power, too much control on something that matters to this degree for you not to respect it and appreciate it and treat it the way that it's supposed to be treated. And Mark, I'm with you, man. The Hall should feel like I'm looking at the gods of this sport, not just the really goods, not that he was elite for a couple of summers. No, the gods, the ones that are like, oh, they're revered differently. That the air smells a little different over here, man. Nah, this ain't that over there. That's how the Pro Football Hall has traditionally been. But what you said, man, if you're going to continue this hall, how are we going to really talk about any of these coaches when Bill Belichick is on the outside looking in?
It's crazy.
Imagine if heck, as much as I love Coach Tomlin, I'm like, Coach Tomlin and and Bill Cow, I'm like, how that's going to flow? How does it, how can they be in and him not be in? That's my disconnect. And it hurts me because I'm like, no. These are, in my mind, this is a surefire thing. So once again, if it's a personal vendetta, man, communicate to this person and then remove
Say
yourself
it.
because you got
Yep.
too much of a bias. All right.
Right. It's too personal to you.
Right.
Yeah. And not only that, like, hold your breath and vote correctly. Man up. Respectfully, man up. Vote like you're supposed to vote. I mean, some things to me are just simple. Like, what are we doing? Honestly,
Yeah.
what are we?
And
Why is Robert
TaNeisha and
Kraft
Mark.
not in the Hall of Fame?
And TaNeisha and Mark, y'all tell me this, right? Spygate, Deflategate, both situations. If we're saying that because of that, we should not put these dudes in the Hall, well, why do we credit those Super Bowls then? Why does the
I have
NFL
no clue.
praise them?
Yeah.
Why does the NFL talk about these games,
Yeah.
refer to Brady as a 7-time
Exactly.
champ and Belichick as a 6-time champ, Robert Kraft as this owner with all these champs? That part doesn't make sense. And I know y'all are smart. You got a doctorate, you're a PhDer, and you got an Emmy award. All right. So I know both of y'all know a lot. Can y'all help me understand this?
Yeah, I can tell you
don't
why.
get it.
Yeah, and let me tell you why. It's cowardice. That's why. People do not want to do the right thing because they want to be the moral high ground of everything. Your job is to watch a sport that you're supposed to be passionate about, that you love, that you admire, and that you respect. And your job is to respect that game. Your job is not to have your personal feelings or any of that. That is unacceptable. That's not what's supposed to happen. And again, you don't know how you voted. You lied. You know how you voted. That cannot be acceptable. And that's so now think about what we're talking about here. So Vinatieri gets in. Well, that's weird. He played for that team. So it does it not count for him because he's just the kicker, but the quarterback can't get in, the head coach can't get in, the owner can't get in. Like, what are we actually doing? Then it raises a bigger issue because now I'm looking for the future. So now we have two guys that we know should be in, Kraft and Belichick. We're going to another year. So now those guys are also carrying over. So now at some point, we're just getting more carryover and more carryover and more carryover. And you're not respecting the game because now you're in a lot of ways screwing other people over that now have to get in because when do they get in? When do they don't get in? Who doesn't get in? Because now you've missed the opportunity. This was easy. This is like a layup.
Seriously.
This is like a walk-in touchdown and you blew it because of your personal feelings. Where's the courage? Like, I just can't stand this. And if you can't handle the job, sorry, I'm on a rant. If you can't handle the job, give the job up. Give it up. You can't handle it. You can't handle the pressure. You take this stuff too personally. It's not about you. You didn't do anything. You literally did nothing. You didn't catch a ball. You didn't kick a ball. You didn't throw a ball. You didn't coach a ball. You weren't in the huddle. You didn't sacrifice your body. So how dare you? I just don't understand it. Okay, I'm done. I just don't understand it.
Yeah,
It frustrates me. It just frustrates me. It's ridiculous. Like, just man up, stand on business, or give up your voting rights. Full stop. Sorry. And I'm not sorry, actually. I'm not sorry.
Mark, you can follow that one. All right, Mark, you follow behind that. I'm chilling.
TaNeisha just won a few good men on us. You can't handle the truth.
It's like, this is simple, right? This is so simple. We all watch these games. We all talk about sports all the time. We talk about sports during Christmas, Thanksgiving, randomly, in July, randomly. What are we doing? Certain things are just, like, I was worried about Larry Fitzgerald getting in, not because I don't think he doesn't deserve it, but because when you have conversations of the best wide receivers, he usually doesn't come up. He just usually doesn't. Every conversation you have about the best owners, the best quarterback, the best head coach, the same guy comes up. They come up every single time. So that's why, to me, I'm like, this doesn't even logically, this doesn't make sense. You're in your feelings. Get out of your feelings or give up your position. There's no other, you can't, you don't know who you voted for.
Mark, she
the
said,
thing
she went to the barbershop. They had this argument. Who's the best coach? Belichick's name always comes up.
It's insane.
The
It's
thing
insane.
too, where because I know Belichick and Kraft have their beef with one another too. Like for example, Belichick doesn't even list Robert Kraft in his latest autobiography, and that
He was distracted.
where
He was distracted. You got to give him some grace.
Well, and it's like when he was promoting that and that whole CBS This Morning interview that blew up with the moment of the CBS reporter and his girlfriend asking, "How did you meet?"
Distracted a little
planet.
bit. He got distracted.
I've been on this planet for 32 years. I've never met a couple where you ask, hey, how did you meet? That they aren't thrilled to tell you. I'm just saying. I digress. Well, so you wonder, did that have any impact at all? Did his first year stint at UNC, like if Belichick were still doing media and he was doing all these different shows and all these different podcasts, would he have been better positioned to make the Hall of Fame and to make the case for himself? Like, he shouldn't need to advocate. Like, Bill Belichick not as first ballot Hall of Famer. It's insane to me. But I wonder if he had just stayed where he was instead of going 4-8 at UNC, does that have any impact? But then Kraft not getting in either. Again, if we're putting this much on Deflategate and on Spygate, Arthur, you said it perfectly in terms of the Super Bowls counting. Well, then why do they count then?
Come on now.
It doesn't make any sense. I think we're in universal agreement all across the board there.
Yeah, because the final two things that I have is this, Mark. When you brought up Belichick's argument, just do this. Just literally do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I got for the thumb, right?
And
for those, not even counting anything else, just as the head man.
For the first three, let's be honest, like Tom Brady didn't really become Tom Brady towards the back half of his career.
Right.
So Belichick's the one who's responsible for that.
It's his defense. That's what I'm like, what are we doing? There's certain things in life where I'm like, this is the answer, right? The answer is just he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. The fact that he's not is actually disrespectful to the game of football. And whoever's responsible for disrespecting the game of football in that way in the NFL needs their access revoked when it comes to voting. Like that's just how I
look.
I don't know.
I saw people trying to reference Robert Kraft's traveling endeavors, where he kind of got distracted, right?
I would say Google Robert Kraft, Florida, and you'll know what Arthur's talking about.
Okay,
I got you.
There you have it. I appreciate you on that, man. That's why you're the Emmy Award winner, okay? Because you know how to do that, all right? But some people have referenced that, and once again, it just brings us back to the point that Mark had made, man. There isn't this morality clause. There isn't this character clause. There isn't this line where we say, hey, you can't be in our Pro Football Hall of Fame if you've done X, X, and X. Because if that was the case, then we know that our hall might be a little lighter, right? But if we're saying that that's not a thing, you don't get to just create this thing haphazardly because of your personal feelings about these particular people. And I just, once again, man, it's like, we have to be very careful and diligent about that type of stuff, man. Otherwise, it can get wild. Where, like, we broke this down, man. It's like, man, Belichick is going to ultimately make somebody else miss out on a spot because he didn't get in when he was supposed to get in. And if you do it to Brady, what else happens, right? It's like, man.
I mean, and do we want to just like be honest though? I mean, there's a lot of people. I'm not even going to say anybody's names. There's a lot of people who morality clause, if that is an air quote thing that we're not doing, but we're actually making decisions off of.
Where do we draw that line on the morality?
People have missed games.
Where do we draw the line on the morality? Are we talking like people potentially being linked to? Never mind. I'm just leaving it alone. We just
but that's my point. Like, what are we doing?
I understand what both of you are saying too, and I'll piggyback off this too. You're disrespecting the hall as well. It's an unbelievable place to go visit in Canton, Ohio. I had the opportunity to do that with my dad and my brother. My dad is the reason I am so passionate about sports. My brother played, we watched. It's something that we do together as a family. And it's something where it takes up a huge part of our group text and our family text and how we communicate, how we bond, how we love each other. So you're also disrespecting what is a world-class museum, a world-class place, a world-class institution in the hall itself because of what the process is with certain people deciding that, oh, well, they aren't worthy because they're being petty for, honestly,
we don't even know why, because they don't know how they voted though, and they're not sure how they voted though. So we don't even know. Like, are you kidding me? That's what I always. I always say this is why people who are overachievers and phenomenal 1%ers don't understand and tolerate very well people that are not, because the hard work, the amount of effort it takes to be excellent at anything. And yet you're going to have somebody that is mediocre and what you're able to do excellently decide some things. I'm sorry. I cannot stand that. That is like, no. That is like, I'm going to use my own example. That's like me going and defending my dissertation, and somebody that has no idea the effort it takes to research and do anything gets to decide if I get my PhD, but you don't know anything. You've never had to sacrifice anything like I did. That's unacceptable in any situation of life. It doesn't change because it's the NFL, because we know these people by name. Like, just, do better. Just do better.
Now, TaNeisha, can you please stop talking about PFF like that? Okay, we're just trying to have a regular conversation. You don't need to talk about PFF like that. We know that they got partnerships with the NFL. They're the combine. We know every Sunday night football, we get all these PFF rankings. I got you, okay? I'm with you. And PFF, I think they even said Aaron Rodgers was like the 25th to 30th best quarterback this year, all right? Shout out to PFF, okay? But you can't publicly talk about them like that, all right? Just please, okay? We ain't got time for all that. Yeah.
You are my favorite person, Steelers legend. You're my favorite. You're my favorite, Steelers legend. Never change, okay? Never change. I don't care what they say about you, okay? I don't care. Never change.
TaNeisha, if we really want to get after Arthur, we could just call him 55. We don't even have to call him Arthur.
Oh,
Moats,
here you see. Don't do me like 55. That, man. Just a guy.
Yeah.
Just a guy, okay?
Yeah.
Well, listen,
I'm literally just a guy.
I to be honest, every Sunday I'm introducing them, so I don't even care. So I don't even care. So that's gonna be my new mission. Every week I'm like, okay, what else can I say? So hey,
the fact that
game
you
on.
broke out the tackle numbers, I'm like, did she really say the solo tackle? So I'm like, you usually stop at just the sex.
I've been thinking about it.
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to add to my knowledge.
Mark piggyback circles. Yeah. 3 franchises you definitely heard of. Like, Mark, what is this?
I'm going to try to get the most random accolades of Arthur's career.
That's what we're going to do. So I will start doing the intro, right? I'll just say, and by the way, and then whatever thing you have that week, Mark, you just drop it. And so don't even tell us what it is. You just add it randomly and we'll just roll it.
Y'all are funny, man.
Because I'm just going to keep adding. I mean, I'm thinking of all things, you know. I got a couple of things I'm thinking about too.
Listen, I'm just a regular guy, okay? That just happens to know some cool people, and I'm just glad that we get a chance to do this, okay? That's it.
Spoken
like regular guy.
I'm
gonna be like, this page. I'm gonna be like, and then I was reading this page, and I said, "Listen, let me tell you guys something. I play dirty, okay? I play to win. I play to win."
She really broke up the book. Yo, this is crazy. All right.
Think I'm joking? Okay. You think I'm joking? Okay. Game on. Okay. Game on. Every week.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Yep. On page 72, I learned from the Steelers legend.
Just wait. Just wait. I realized I walked into an ambush, okay? Walked into a setup. It's a trap here, all right?
Hey.
To be fair, Mark and I haven't talked about this at all. So that's what makes it all better.
Yeah. All right. Retreat. We're going to retreat for a little bit. And after that, we're going to shuffle the deck. We're going to be back. I'll be back. Hey. Okay, yeah, we'll be back. Okay. So with that being the case, though, all right, we're going to get back to what the people want to talk about, all right? Because they don't care about me like that. They care about the gang. They care about the collective.
They might be here for you.
Okay?
I don't know.
No. They definitely show up for you and for Mark, all right? They love new Mark. Mark, I don't know what happened on your sabbatical, but they have responded to new Mark. That's what I do know for sure, all right? So shout out to you. But what I did want to ask, though, man, since obviously we know right now is free agency time, right? In terms of our in-house guys, who we want to bring back, who do we think we should allow to, test the market? I'm torn between what is the order of operations, right? Do you look internally at what you currently have, or do you look at what the needs are before we look at who we would want to come back versus who we would allow to leave? So I figure since it's, 3 of us up here, let's vote on it, all right? Would you rather talk our team needs first and then we go and look at our in-house free agents, or would you rather talk our free agents and then from there we respond to the needs after the fact?
Can I hop in?
Go for it, baby.
Let's name names. I want to go after the list. of who the the unrestricted free agents are.
Hey.
Let's name names. Let's get right into
Let's
it.
go. Let's go. Well, shoot, TaNeisha, if you have a pick on that, because I'm going to go ahead and just piggyback on Mark, all right? Because I love his enthusiasm. So either way, it's going to be either 3-0 or 2-1, and you're going to be losing either way. So hopefully I want you to win, all right? So TaNeisha, would you like to talk the free agents as well?
Are you talking to which side of my Gemini are you talking to? If you're talking to the nice side of my Gemini, I'm rolling with you all. If you're talking to the stubborn side of her, then absolutely not. So, no, seriously. You guys, let's talk about the unrestricted.
Hey, TaNeisha, if it helps anything, I'm also a Gemini, so let's roll.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that. I love that.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, let me level set this so that we know the full context. But I'm feeling nice today. So, yeah, we can do the unrestricted free agent.
I like it there. Well, with that being the case, then I'll name off the unrestricted people. Then from there, we'll kind of go in. Hey, man, if you have any names or just with conviction, like, yo, I want these people back, man, let's just hop in and start saying those, and then we'll kind of debate them and go from there. But on the list, and shout out to the homie Mark Bergin also for providing the list too, man. Look, that's why he's an Emmy Award winner, all right? Y'all can argue with yourselves. You can argue with anything you want. You can't argue with hard facts, all right? Hard facts are he's an award winner. Put some respect on him, all right? But we started off with Aaron Rodgers, baby, unrestricted. Then from there, we got Adam Thielen. From there, we got Andres Pete, the guard/tackle. We also have Asante Samuel Jr. We got Calvin Austin III. Shout out to the safety, Chuck Clark, also being on this list. Cole Holcomb, number 5'5". Love my 5'5", brothers. You know that. Then from there, man, we got Connor Hayward, also being an unrestricted guy. Daniel Iquale, the D-line / converted outside guy. About to say number 93. All right, the big body dude. Okay. Excuse me. Not number 93. I didn't want to butcher that. My apologies. That's Atuame. I butchered his last name. Then we got Dean Lowry also on the list. Donald Parham, the tight end. He's on the list as an unrestricted guy. Isaac Seumalo. Shout out to Isaac Seumalo. Then from there, man, we have Isaiah Loudermilk, Jabril Peppers, Jack Driscoll, right? Tackle, guard, interior offense lineman, James Pierre. Shout out to Pierre Island. Then after that, we got Kenny G. Mark, come on, man. Kenneth Gainwell, you know he on the list. Kyle Duggar's also on the list. Marquez Valdez Scantling is also on the list. Shout out to MVS. Max Scarping is also on that list, man. Interior guard center. Miles Killebrew, the special teams captain, obviously got hurt earlier this past season. Scotty Miller, Super Bowl champion, wide receiver. And then last but certainly not least, the one and only Skylar Thompson, unrestricted free agent. So y'all heard the list, man. It's what, 26 names on this thing, or excuse me, 23 names on this thing. How we feeling about any of these guys, man? Does anybody just jump off to you right away and you're like, yo, I want this player back?
Pete Rogers Gainwell.
Okay. What about you, Mark? How you feeling? And then after that, we'll have TaNeisha explain her side too.
Rogers, I'm in total agreement there. At least if you're talking the 2026 season, we've talked on previous pods. Go and Google search who the free agent quarterbacks are. It is a very underwhelming list. Steelers are picking 21, so unless you're going to invest some draft capital and drafting somebody, Rodgers is still your best bet for this coming season. 2027 beyond, it's still something that we all want figured out, but Rodgers to me is the first on that list where it's like you absolutely need to try to get him back if you're the Steelers. TaNeisha, who are the other two that you had?
Pete, the offensive lineman, and
Okay.
Gainwell.
Gainwell's where I'm conflicted. We've talked about this. I love Kenneth Gainwell. He was the team MVP. I'm not discounting that. I wonder how much more Pittsburgh would need to pay him to bring him back next season,
Mm-hmm.
maybe add multiple years onto that deal. And it's like, I just think his skill set's too similar to that of Jaylen Warren. But then it's like, okay, you've got to figure out another position group. And I want someone who can run between the tackles, someone who can run like I want an upgraded Najee Harris is what I'm trying to look for at that position as a complement to Jaylen Warren. I would probably let Kenneth Gainwell walk, and it really pains me to say that. It's just his running style is too similar. His skill set is too similar to that of Jaylen Warren. And maybe I'm totally wrong. It's like, Mark, you want to get rid of the Steelers' most consistent playmaker from this past season. I am acknowledging that. I just, him and Warren together, it's like, sometimes it's a 1 + 1 = 3, where it's like a chocolate and peanut butter combination.
Yep.
1 + 1 with both of those players = 2. And I'm not trying to shortchange either of them. Again, it's just that their skill sets are so similar.
Oh, shout out to both of y'all, man. Shout out to both of y'all. Y'all are so buttoned up. Y'all are so good with your list. See, for me, I'm not as narrow as y'all list. No. Y'all are like super like GM, put the glasses on with the pocket protector. We're talking this versus that. Now I don't got time for this and this. No, She was like, I got 3 people. Mark said I got 1.5. I was Lord.
Well, I can go through some of the other ones.
Because I got some names on my list. All right, I got some names. I'm like, yeah.
Let me go through.
Whoa, hold on. Maybe I misunderstood the question. Are we doing our top people? Or are we just doing everyone?
No. So the way that I was trying to communicate it was this: of everybody on that list, who are the people to you that you feel like, man, I want this person back? And that could be one person, that could be 20 people. Heck, it could have been the whole list, but it's like with conviction. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like, man, if those are people, yeah. So that's what I'm like, you're not wrong for it. Yeah, you're definitely not wrong, and neither is Mark. I was just like, man,
hang on.
When I look at my list, it's a little bit more expanded. That's all. So I'm like, okay, so this is about to be fun here.
Pete, I would. Samuel depends on price. Calvin Austin III depends on price. Honestly, Cole Holcomb for depth at linebacker position depends on price. I would Connor Hayward just because he does a lot of different things for you, especially with tush push and everything. Maybe someone else would be able to do that. I think you could bring him back on the cheap. Say Malu depends on price. Loudermilk. Pierre, I would love to have back. I don't think you're going to be able to afford him. I'd probably say the same thing with Duggar. Killebrew's nice special teamer too when he's healthy too. I mean, so the rest I'm fine with, where it's like you'd be able to find other replacements for, just going through that list. But a lot of it just depends on what the market says. Again, like James Pierre is a perfect example of like, would love to have James Pierre back. Is he going to be back for the same salary what he was making this year? No, I think he earned himself a nice contract, whether it's Pittsburgh or elsewhere.
I didn't know if you was about to revise or anything on your side, TaNeisha. You good? Because I was going to go ahead and drop my names, man, to kind of give,
I kind of see this thing.
That's what I'm talking about. You better stay 10 toes down in it. All right?
I love it.
You better stay 10 toes down in this thing. All right. So the fun thing is this. I actually got some names that y'all agreed with, and then I got some names that I don't agree with y'all on. All right. So for me, Aaron Rodgers, of course, man, I want Aaron Rodgers back. Mark, you broke it down perfectly, man. Why wouldn't I when I look at my other options? And don't tell me about the future, because the NFL is year to year. Show me a team that is going to allow you to stink it up for 2-3 years consecutively. Show me a quarterback that can stink it up for 2 to 3 years consecutively under the premise of development, learning, right? It's not realistic. So for me, I'm not lying to myself and playing that game. If Rodgers is available, that's the guy that's priority number 1 to me. After that, Asante Samuel Jr., productive, tough as nails, and he got that FU attitude that I love my DBs to have. You throwing at me, FU, I'm about to go get this thing. Oh, man, you think you nice, man? FU. You ever seen JPJ play out there? He got that FU, and I love that. Asante Samuel Jr. has that just like his pops has that, and I love both of them, all right? From there, Calvin Austin III. And I'm going to say all my names. And granted, yes, we know, man, some money stuff is going to be a part of it. But at the same time, we don't know what a TJ Watt, what a Jalen Ramsey, we don't know what any of that looks like today. So that is why, for me, I'm just speaking on the guys that I just want back, right? We obviously know as the offseason progresses, we're going to find out what numbers are available in terms of what we currently have and then what we open up via restructures or releases. But in the simple, just these are the guys I want back. Calvin Austin III. I've seen this dude make plays in the return game on special teams. I've seen this guy make big time plays down the grass as a receiver, going across the middle, catching it in the screen game, tough as heck. I've seen this dude give me a walk-off touchdown while I'm sitting next to my little man at the game. I'm like, bro, the sentimental element to be able to just make my son really believe because you did what you were supposed to do in one of the biggest games of the season. man, how can I say I don't want that back? And this is after I've seen him have to develop, right? After I've seen him miss the first year and then be told he's too small. Me personally feel like he can't really run a lot of detailed routes, and watching him develop that. And it's like, man, that's a guy that I think is, should be here. I think that that's a guy that regardless of the regime, regardless of who else you bring in, he is going to have a role, and speed kills. Show me a guy faster though. That's the other part, right? And then from there, man, of course, I'm rolling with Connor Hayward, and it's multiple reasons, right? When you talk about what he does in the short yardage game, right? We've seen his impact with the tush push. We've seen his impact with the fake tush push. We've seen his impact catching the football. We've seen his impact running the football. We've seen his impact as a lead blocker, as a traditional fullback, as a tight end. Heck, we've seen this dude be a double-digit tackler on special teams. Do you understand? Most people don't understand because most people have never covered a special teams kick or punt. I'm telling you firsthand, when you watch a person get 10 plus tackles in that element of the game, you are balling. You are cooking. And that's why you look at Miles Killebrew, you look at Carson Bruner and Connor Hayward, you're like, yo, these are the guys that are putting up the same numbers that a Rosie Nix, right? A Darius Hayward Bay, a Robert Golden, a Jordan Dangerfield, special teams captains, Pro Bowlers, right? That's the numbers that they were doing. So to see Connor Hayward also doing that while give me value on offense, yeah. And then, of course, me personally, it's like, man, I love the dude. He's an awesome cat. And it makes Big Bro play better. Why? Because, man, when everybody is feeling good personally, you also play better. No different than when we go to our jobs, right? When we have a good home space and then the traffic is working in our favor, the coffee hits just right, the playlist hits perfect on the way in, the outfit's fire. It's like, yeah, you're going to have a great day at work. Your mind, your mental space, everything is good. So I look at that and I say, man, that also gives me some of that with Cam Hayward. So that's the other reason why. Isaac Seumalo, I want back. I'm cool on Andres Pete personally. I don't need that back. I would rather go and just get something younger and cheaper, just because when we brought Andres Pete in, it wasn't as if he was coming in as a younger guy or, a guy that was kind of in the middle of his career. We looked at him as, man, this is an emergency, but you're the most proven and the most ready to go for what we need right now. And he delivered. But I just think that now we can go a little bit younger there, just because he's not going to be coming back as a starter or even necessarily the number 2 guy in certain spaces, right? So when I look at Isaac Seumalo, I'm like, yo, this is a starter. This has been the guy for the past 3 years for us, one of our most steady producers and one of our most healthy players too, even with some of the bumps and bruises that he's had to play through. I think that that's a guy that I would really want back just to keep that development going. Seumalo, Frazier, McCormick, Fautanu, Broderick, love it. And if it's not Broderick, Dylan Cook, love it. But you see what I'm on. It's like, I would love to just keep that group and let that group grow the same way I watched Ramon Foster, Marquise Pouncey, David DeCastro. Then it turned into my man, Marcus Gilbert. On the left tackle, we had Kelvin Beachum. Then after Beachum, it turned into who? Al Villanueva. But we kept that group. We kept that core. And that's why they became so dominant. So I would love to be able to continue with that. And that's why I say with Seumalo, I want him to come back. Jabril Peppers. It's a Swiss Army knife in that back end that made a ton of plays for us and also made plays on special teams. But I'm looking at him and saying, you can have a more defined role now, because you're going to have, if you come back, you have a full offseason. You're not coming in on the moving train where it's plug you in here because this guy is hurt. But now that this guy's coming back, now you don't have a spot. But now we're going to put Jalen here. But dang, that's where we was kind of playing you at. We won't have to do that if he's coming back as an integral part, a person that we're looking at and saying, yeah, man, if it's a 3 safety package, which we know you run at times, you can give us some help, not just in coverage, but also versus that run. So that's the thing that I want with Jabril Peppers. James Pierre, I know I feel like that's the long shot of all of them, because I do feel like when you play corner, you play it the way that he plays it, you get paid. He's tough. He can cover. He's not afraid to tackle. He's failed and he's won. And it's like, man, people like that. So with that, it's like, you got to respect that. But I would love for him to come back. Kenny G is the other one. If I could get Kenny G, would love that, because to me, as much as I love Jaylen Warren, I think Kenny G's skill set is still a little bit more smoother in the passing element. I think Jaylen Warren is the more explosive runner. I'm not going to take that away from. I think he's definitely the more explosive runner. But in terms of the receiver, man, you watch that catch Gainwell had versus the Detroit Lions. Y'all saw that? It's like, man, this dude's hands, along with his ability to do the other stuff, it's like, man, I want that back. Now, I don't want to get rid of Jaylen Warren. it becomes a Caleb Johnson conversation.
Yeah. Right.
Can you or can't you? Right. But I don't want to move those two, man.
I see what you mean. I see what
You
you
know?
mean, Arthur.
Right. But it's like, if you can.
After 1 year, that would be surprise. I mean,
no. So
it'd be surprising. It's not impossible what you're saying.
Right.
Though. I hear you. I hear you.
And it's like, man, does that mean you're bringing in a higher end guy? I'm not saying that either, because we're looking at the third or more specialized role, right? The upgraded Najee, the big guy that has some speed. But what I'm saying is, man, I would rather bring some competition in to find out, man, either you're going to get off the pot or you can go ahead and take that dump. But which one we going to do? We ain't going to sit here all day, man. I don't have time for this. And that's just the NFL. I mean, I know it's not nice, but that is literally the NFL. That is how it goes, man. So that's kind of how I view that. But the final two people that I have, Kyle Duggar, because to me, I'm like, if it's either Jabril Peppers or Kyle Duggar, whichever one, right? I know I'm not going to get both, but if I can get one of the other.
Remember, Deshaun Elliott's going to be back too. Yeah. So, yep.
And I'm just looking for a 3-safety look. I say Jalen Ramsey, Deshaun Elliott's coming back. I either need Kyle Duggar or Jabril Peppers. I can cook with either one. I think both can slot in exactly how I needed to do it, but I just don't know which one's going to cost more, because Kyle Duggar, even though TaNeisha wasn't a fan of his PBUs, he got his hands on a lot of footballs, TaNeisha. Okay.
Really right now? Wow. Okay.
Hey, that's Arthur.
Noted.
Arthur cooking with peppers right
Noted.
there. If you will.
I like you. I put you on. I see what you are. But that's that. And then with Miles Killebrew, yeah, when he's healthy, man, that's the special teams Pro Bowl, special teams captain. The unfortunate thing is, by him getting hurt, it allowed me to see Peyton Wilson step into that role. But the reason why I want Miles back is because I don't want Peyton to be that role. I want him to step up on defense and now graduate, and he can't live both of those. I just personally think that that's going to be a lot on him to be one of the lead dogs on defense or the lead dog on defense, and having to be the special teams aide. I just think that puts a lot on his plate, man. But Miles Killebrew, if he's healthy when you bring him back, now I don't have to worry about that, and he's not going to be pricey. That's the other part that I love about him.
That's ultimately what this is going to come down to with a lot.
Right. I was just going to say, I feel like all of
this
comes down to price.
I like Kenneth Gainwell a lot as a player, but it's like he's probably going to want more than $2 million that he was making this last year. I mean, Rodgers even said it. I think it was his final press conference after the game saying he's underpaid. So is another team going to say, oh, I saw what he did in his season in Pittsburgh. He was, again, the team MVP and he was their most consistent offensive player, like straight up. DK is still a better player overall, I think. But in terms of consistency, Gainwell was this last year. Now, also, what does that look like with the Mike McCarthy offense too? Arthur Smith's not there either. Mm-hmm. So that's something as well of like, what type of offense are we running here with McCarthy and company? And really, I think that's going to be very contingent upon, again, going back to who your quarterback is, which we've talked about quite a bit.
I mean, what value, if you're just throwing out a number, right? And we're not doing this to be exact, but just throwing out guesses, right? Educated guesses, because y'all are very educated. But for Kenneth Gainwell, right? We saw where Saquon, right? The deal that he initially had to go to Philadelphia was giving him, was it 12 a year? I think it was, on that 1 year situation. Then he obviously re-signed and got like the big deal. But what number do we put on what we saw from Kenneth Gainwell? Is that double digits? Is that 10 million? Or is that just going up to 4 million? Is that 7 million? I'm with you in terms of him being underpaid, but what does underpaid actually look like to y'all?
I hate saying this, but I would be like, I wouldn't want to do more than a 2-year deal, 10 million, maybe with the first year guaranteed. I mean, that might sound harsh, but that's...
Are you saying 10 each year or 2 years, 10? Total, so just getting 5. Total. Yeah. We can't afford. No, but I'm just saying, like, if that's the offer, though, right?
TaNeisha, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But if that is the offer, right? If that is the offer for 5, regardless of his decision on it, us internally, that isn't breaking what we're going to be able to do, is all I'm saying. Now, does he take that or leave that? I think that depends on what other teams value. Do you value him at what Tony Pollard got to go to the Titans, right? Now, Tony Pollard, when he went down there to the Titans, he was coming off of being, if I remember correctly, the lead guy in Dallas, right? Or the alpha taking the lion's share, whereas we know with Gainwell, it was him and Jaylen Warren, and their numbers both total offensive production are pretty much right down the middle, right? In terms of how they did.
What is Jaylen Warren getting right now?
Jalen, let me pull him up because he
Per year?
signed.
I just pulled up Tony Pollard. So Tony Pollard's deal was a 3-year, $21 million and some change. So about $7 million per year.
Yeah, and
coming off
Jalen
when
Warren
he had a
got
really
2
good,
for
coming off
12.
that really good Dallas that year. Yeah.
You said 2 for 12?
Yeah,
See, like
2 for 11.9. So he's getting 5.9 a season, but he got 7 guaranteed. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, what exactly is that number looking like for Kenny, where he can just say, "Nah, I'm turning my nose up at 5." That's why I'm like, well, those are the two to me that most, I guess, like the most similar to his situation right now. If that's what we're anticipating his market potentially being, I don't necessarily think he's just going to walk when you say 5 million. That's my only thing. I think that 5 actually probably would get that done. 7 if you want to overpay for it, but I'll be interested to see if on the open market he would get a 10 piece. I don't see a team giving him 10 a year just based on everything that we saw this year. So as like the player part of it, I say to myself, it's like, man, sometimes, I don't know, even my deal here, it was like, man, before we even got to the bigger numbers of it, I would have took way less if they would approach me with that number that I already had in mind, but they want to do the negotiating thing, right? And we get it. When you negotiate, you're supposed to play hardball. And it's all well and good until it backfires. And in that situation, it backfired for them, work for me, right? But at the end, it's like, man, we still ended up taking a little bit less because we just loved it here. We loved the stability. We loved the team. We loved the success that we had. And all I'm saying is for Kenneth Gainwell, that is something. That is something that, man, if it comes down to it and you got 5 on the table here, or you got 6 on the table here, or you can go get 7 there.
Depends on the situation.
That's what I'm saying. It's a legit debate.
What I'm saying too
I
is
think Aaron Rodgers is going to matter here too.
Yeah.
Because even when I was making just thinking about who I wanted back here, one of the biggest things is I think another year with him and Rodgers together. I feel like, because there were so many moments where I felt like they just weren't, they were almost on the same page. It didn't quite. And then they would always kind of run back together and kind of be like, right, all right. Like just like those little almost moments where it's like, I think when you have Aaron Rodgers that's the leader, even with the offensive line, how many times did we see Aaron Rodgers ready to snap the ball? And it took the offensive line a minute to realize that Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback for them to get ready for him to snap the ball. So like little things like that. I think if Aaron Rodgers comes back and he's the center, now I feel like other things can work around him. But if he doesn't come back, then does Gainwell, like, how does he feel about that? Because now he's playing with a new guy, new things, new experiences. So I don't really know about that one. So I don't know.
I want to live in a world. I want to live in a world where Broderick Jones tackles Aaron Rodgers after a late touchdown pass against the Bengals. I hope we get to see that again in 2026. It's one of my favorite moments of the Steelers season, where Broderick Jones was just celebrating like a little kid. And Aaron Rodgers was so mad. He was so mad.
Yeah.
I want to live in that world.
Man,
I'm sorry to derail the show.
It's a possibility, though. Look, it's definitely a possibility. All right. Yeah. The other thing I was going to say was this, man, just piggybacking on, what you were saying, TaNeisha, about wanting to see them just continue to build, right? Continue to get that continuity. Remember, Rodgers didn't even do the whole offseason here, right? We were kind of waiting. It was like, man, is he going to show? Is he going to sign? What does that look like? So, granted, man, he's not going to sign tomorrow, right? And it is going to be a scenario where he's going to be here for every single off-season thing, but it's the cumulative. Now I can build upon this building block that we just laid last year, all September, where we were all trying to figure it out, right? October, and I'm trying to figure out, man, when I'm telling y'all to snap it, you need to know to snap. But also, hey, Kenny, if I do this, that means run this route. DK, if I do that, that means run this route. November, right? Man, I'm playing over here with one hand. I'm trying to figure out, can I even play, let alone are we on the same page? December, now we're starting to heat up, figure some things out. We're getting hot down the stretch. It's like, man, if I can come back to this, I'm not starting at ground zero. Yeah. Now, when I come back, we already have this foundation laid. And that's the part to me that makes me more optimistic if Rodgers does come back of, man, this offense hitting the ground running and being a lot more productive from start to finish versus the how erratic it was, throughout this season. And it ultimately ended back on that erratic note, right? And we talk about the Texans game in the postseason. It's like, man, y'all could just not turn that over twice. Touchdowns. We may have a different outcome, right? Just maybe.
Yeah. I will say, listening to both of you state your cases, I still am sticking with the 3, but
I like TaNeisha. I respect the ruthlessness.
Let's go.
I really do.
Heck yeah.
I'm still sticking with the 3. I'm sticking with them. And I would be willing though to hear and see what the market is saying and see, right? Because I think that dictates a lot of this. Is I think Gainwell and Rodgers, to me, I'm seeing them as kind of together. Now, if they really are, I don't really know, but that's just kind of how I'm looking at it. I think they would be really good together. And if Rodgers doesn't come back, I think that impacts Gainwell, and then we're off on the rails a little bit. But I think the other thing is, for me, is a lot of this comes down to price. And if you tell me that I can get Connor Hayward a little bit cheaper and that's going to impact Cam, and yes, I'm team that. Sign me up for that. But if I have to get into like a bidding war for Connor Hayward, I ain't doing that. So it's like, for me, there's only certain people where I'm like, yes, yes, and yes. Everybody else is kind of like, I want you back. Don't get me wrong, but I can't put forth too much money into you because everybody can't get that. And so for me, it's like, when I'm looking at this team, I liked watching Pete move around the offensive line. I liked the security he brought, I felt like. And I felt like I didn't think you realized he was out there. To me, that's a marking of something that I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. And so that was my thing with him. And I don't know if he's going to be cheaper than, what's his name? Isaiah
Sayumalu.
Sayumalu. I don't know who's going to be the cheaper one of those. And I just really like the way Pete filled in for Broderick Jones. That left tackle position for me was huge, watching somebody come in and slot in, and us. I don't even think we ever mentioned his name except for when he played really well. I mean, I don't think we ever were like, oh gosh, we have that guy out there.
Yeah,
and I
got hurt
that.
And then it was Cook, but TaNeisha, to your point, it was the versatility of whether it was left tackle or either was tackle or guard.
Right. Yeah, and I like the flexibility of that. And again, I don't want to overpay for anyone, but if I have to overpay for a guy or two and it's because of flexibility and ability to do more, I'm going to lean more towards that because that gives me a lot more skill set. And that's where Connor Hayward can kind of come back into the fold, which I'm okay with that. I'm just not going to overpay I'm just not going to overpay. That's kind of where I'm at. But those are my 3 that I would almost say, listen, you're a priority. We want you to come back. I will say the Asante Samuel one, I do like that grittiness. I do love that. That amazing. Would I overpay for him? No, but I do like the grittiness and that desire. But
serious question. Is there ever a scenario where you would overpay?
I think so. I think for the right situation. I think for what I know right now, though, of the Steelers and what we're doing, I don't know what it is, I guess. Like, let me say this. If Coach Tomlin was here and we had certain coaches in position and I kind of felt like I knew them, I feel like I would say I would overpay for this guy, this guy, this guy. Because it's McCarthy and I'm just not, I just don't know yet. Like, I can't feel it, Like,
I guess what I'm trying to ask is this, because and maybe you won't know this until we get more information down the line.
Yeah.
But I always just simply say, regardless of scheme, are they good players or are they not good players? Because we can save $5 million, but then we downgrade this player.
Right.
And now it's like, yeah, you got $5 million, you won the deal, but we're watching our corner get beat. We're watching this guy not make a tackle. We're watching this guy not be able to catch. And it's like, this is cool. Yeah, hey man, you got the best deal out. You ain't okay for that play. But it's like, we know these players are already good. We know these players have already had success. We know these players have already shown what they're capable of to a degree. So not saying that any of these guys today, hey man, who you overpay for? No, I'm just saying in general though, because I did hear you mention it was like, all right, I can dig that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Some people, 100%. I think some people are worth the overpay. And I think some people, just because it's an overpay to you, doesn't really mean it's an overpay. Sometimes you luck up and you're actually like, man, we probably should have paid him 20, but he's doing it at 15. So yeah, no, 100%. If a guy is going to bring you value, I think you pay for the value. Full stop. I mean, I think that's the name of the game. I think you get in trouble when we try to not pay for the value that somebody is bringing. I feel like I don't have a feel for the team or for the coach or for the environment or for anything really. I just feel like I'm just picking out names and based off what I remember from last year. But at the same time, it's like a whole new coaching staff, a whole new scheme, a whole new everything, a new day in Pittsburgh. Okay, what does that even mean? And does that mean we're going to start spending more money on our offense than we historically have on our defense? I don't even know if that's true or not. So that's why I'm just kind of like, and if you notice, I picked all offensive guys. I didn't even touch the defense because I was like, oh, I don't know. So anyway, so I think a lot of this too is just my own brain thinking, I don't know how to reconcile this yet. I haven't seen anything. It's like I need, me, like I'm a researcher. I need some input. I don't have any inputs right now. I have zero. I just have a coach.
As I hear you, I'm like, yo. So you got like 30 different targets up here. And like, yo, we just got to shoot just one. We got to get this low. Hey, we're going to get there. Heck yeah.
I need some information. I
need this.
Yeah. Do we want it to be tall or short? Yeah. Do we want to be fast or slow? Like, do we want to be able to tackle? Like, what are we? I don't even know. I don't even know who my targets are.
No, I respect that. The one thing that I would say that I know as players that I kind of view it as like this. I started, is the player good or not? Before I get to fit, cost, like, don't like, it's like, is the player good? Mm-hmm. Because we've seen, regardless of if you're drafted, not drafted, if you're getting 40 million or you're on, the rookie deal, certain players are just good football players. Yeah. We don't need to know Nick Herbig's salary, where he was drafted at, how old he is, his religion, that's a good football player, right? Hands down, full stop. There's no debate. He's a good football player. So that's kind of how I'm viewing these people. And that's, at least the start of that free agency convo. It's like, man, are they good or not? Because certain players, we would all agree, it's like, yeah, this player wasn't good enough to us in terms of his impact, in terms of what his role was, forever the reason. It's like, we just don't view this player more than or with more value than we view this guy right here. So yeah, regardless of any of these other variables, we're not even interested in re-signing this guy. Yeah. But from there, it's like, all right, now you start to build on that combo. But it is interesting just to hear like the thought processes behind why we would or why we wouldn't. So I definitely love that. Man, like I said, this could be fun because obviously we get to revisit this again once we start getting some of these answers, Yeah,
because the free agency will come before the draft too. I think that will help me be like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I
want to go to the cornerback really quickly before we move on. The debate of Samuel or Pierre, if you have to pick one, if you're Pittsburgh, I like both of them as players. Samuel, the question I have is, he came in coming off that spinal surgery, played well for the Steelers, didn't really seem to have any adverse effects. If you bring him back, are there any lingering issues? And when we're talking about back injuries, I just get a little bit more wary because it's not the type of injury where it's like, okay, your standard ankle or knee or shoulder injury, what have you. The back, I just have a bit of trepidation, a bit of like, hey, pause, a little bit of caution. I think he's probably a better player than Pierre because Pierre has been up and down, but I think Pierre really figured it out on the back half of this last season, was playing at a really high level, and he's played in a lot of different scenarios, whether it's corner, whether it's dime corner, whether it's special teams. But like I said, I think he made himself some money with his play on the field at the end of this past season. So that's just something I'm thinking about too when you have that debate, is like, if Samuel's your guy, you want to be certain there's no lingering issues there, again, for why he even wound up with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first place.
Yeah, I'm about to say, if we're just talking, hey, your best versus your best, Samuel versus Pierre, the amount of people that are going to be in belief of Samuel is going to be a lot longer of a list, man. Just the spinal injury is the only reason why. Like, there isn't like when he's healthy, he can ball. That's why he was drafted. That's why he's had the success that he's had. Heck, even watching him this year with us, it's like, that's the big concern with him. And to a degree, you use that against him in negotiations to keep that price down. Hey, I know you showed me that you could play, but can you do a whole season though? Because you didn't play for the whole season. So I don't know if I can commit that type of money to you. That's how you negotiate against that. James Pierre, though, to me, I think is the more well-rounded guy. I think the guy that fits whatever role you're trying to put him in, inside, outside, special teams, he can do all of that. Right? If you need a boundary corner, it's like, man, he can play it. If you need him to the field, he could do it. It's like, yo, he brings a lot to the table. But it's also more of when we view him, the perception is overachieving, right? Versus this being what is the norm for him, and largely due to us being able to see him develop, right? We saw early on when he got opportunities, and we saw when they didn't work out for him, and then he had to go work again, and then he got the opportunities again, and they did produce. I think that those are some of the things that are going to make us hesitant about Pierre in terms of how much do you commit to him? Because do you truly feel that what you saw at points last year is the norm, and not just the norm in a spot role, but the norm if I pay you to be cornerback too, or if I'm paying you to legitimately be my third corner? That becomes that conversation, because once you pay him that, somebody else isn't going to be here, or wherever organization you're at, somebody loses a spot, and now you're not just there for James, you're there for James plus whoever, or plus whoever and whoever, depending on how much you get paid.
That's real. Arthur, the injury component and the negotiation, I've heard that, and now heard that from you. I've heard that from many other players when you talk about these contract negotiations. If you take anything away from what we've talked about with this, that's real. That's real.
So
just
there
based
we have
on
it
what
with
I've
that.
heard.
Yeah.
But,
You said something that's interesting where it's I don't know how you phrased it. I'm about to butcher it. You basically said you said between your normal play and what did you say? How you are normally, and if you are over.
Yeah. So what I mean by overachieving is this, right? We've seen Pierre get beat, right? Or we've seen Pierre have times where we're like, yo, that can't be out there as the main corner. But then we saw him at times this year, late in game situations, where he's making big plays for us, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you that feeling of, dude, these are big time plays you're making. But would we say he's a big time player or an elite player, or we're saying, yo, you're overachieving in that moment, and I'm not willing to commit $20 million to you, because $20 million is what I look at a JPJ and I say, yeah, that's your norm. You don't feel like you're overachieving, right? Whereas Pierre's like,
so the normal expectation of a player versus TJ Watt. TJ Watt is normally just always dominant, overachieving, right? Per se, right? In his position, so he gets paid elite money.
It doesn't even feel overachieving. But it just feels like that's like Myles Garrett. We don't say Myles Garrett overachieved. We're just like, yo, that's Myles Garrett.
Okay.
If Alex Highsmith gave me 20 plus sacks, we're like, yo, you overachieved.
He's overachieving.
Yeah, you catch it down. Yep.
That's a good parameter. Okay, so what you can normally, I'm sorry, Mark. So what you can normally do, how you are as a player, whatever, that just is what it is. That's our expectation.
Just your normal expectations for that person.
And it's normal, and it depends on what that expectation is. That will determine if we feel like you can sustain that. Yeah, if you can sustain that, or if that's just certain moments where you're.
If you see Kenny G go out there, rush for 80 yards, have another 80 through the air, and he gives you a touchdown and a freaky one-hand catch, are we surprised by that? Or are we saying, yeah, that's a Kenny G, he can do that, bro?
Got it.
Catch me?
Okay.
Now, if Caleb Johnson goes out there and runs for 230 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. We're like, whoa, who's that?
And now it's like, do you pay him?
What I would say is we found a way to time travel, and I was playing Nebraska Saturday football, baby.
I'm like, so it's like that's so when we're talking about paying, we're talking about contracts. That's the tough, like the injury side is
like
real
lingo,
but that's the other thing. It's like, is this overachieving? And sometimes guys will have seasons where yes, you overachieved, like the situations, the stars were aligning, but I can't commit elite level or dominant level or that level money to you when we know that's not your norm. But we see teams do it. And that's the other part. We see teams, they will, and that's where you get into the whole overpay versus underpay convo, really, is when that happens. And now it's like, man, I'm paying this guy $20 million to be a force multiplier.
But he's not really.
And we know if you just look at some of the high level contracts that were dished out this offseason, heck, just start at quarterback. Right?
I know where he's going. I know where you're going. I think.
Okay. You know exactly.
Are we going to leave it there? We might.
We'll leave it there. Okay. Yep. We'll leave it there. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. There we go. I like it. So
that's a better way to put that. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Now, on the back end of this thing, before we get to something spicy potentially, I did want to, just simply ask, now that we've talked about the in-house free agents, right? The unrestricted guys, man. Now knowing who we like, don't like potentially, what are our team needs, man? Just on the back end of this thing, top 3 needs that you think this team needs to address when we're talking about how we're going to either re-sign players, sign players in free agency, or even in the draft. Like, man, do you feel like, these quarterbacks, man, or these D linemen, man, what's up with these linebackers?
I have an
bro?
unpopular. Yeah.
Ooh.
I think for my order is going to be quarterback. I'm just going to assume we need a quarterback. I'm going to go quarterback. I'm going to go wide receiver 2, and I am going to go pass rusher. I'm going pass rusher.
When you say pass rusher, TaNeisha, are we talking outside linebacker? Are we talking
She's
about...
talking about the TJs in the world. She's talking about...
Don't make me say it.
He's talking about pass rushers. I'm
right.
Pass rusher.
I'll fall on the sword.
I'm talking about a pass rusher. I'm talking about a pass rusher where we can look out and we can say, that guy is coming for TJ Watt's job in a few years. That's what I'm looking for. I want to know... I think we have a need, and I think it's getting a little leaky. And I think if we do not capture the need sooner rather than later, I think we're going to have a bigger issue sooner rather than later.
Wow.
So
I don't know if I would go that far, but TaNeisha, here's where I'm at with it. Is TJ Watt's into his 30s now? He regressed this last year. Steelers fans won't want to hear that, and maybe he can say, oh, well, I just saw what Myles Garrett did. Let me get right. Let me get healthy. Let me go have a career year and turn back the clock and say, he still got the juice and still has it. But just that same dynamic play, that force multiplier that we're talking about wasn't there as consistently. It's not to say he didn't make any plays. I mean, TJ Watt is still better than the vast majority of edge rushers in the game. But for what you're paying him, TaNeisha, that's where I'm with you of. If he's making $40 per year, you've got to have premium performance. That did not happen this last season. It didn't. So to say,
that's why
how many more years are on his deal? I guess let me look that up.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you solve for something before it becomes a problem, it's just a pass off. We move on. It's just in addition to. It just makes us better. And when it's time, it's time. And we've been Steelers fans for a long time, right? When it's time, everybody rolls.
Through 2028. They have an out in 2028. So it's like Herbig's entering the final year of his rookie deal. Here's the thing of what you're saying, though, TaNeisha. If you're to say to move on and try to trade TJ Watt, what kind of value is he going to have considering he has that monster contract? So it's like, unless you were to try to renegotiate with him, they're not just going to outright cut him because, again, 2028 is the soonest that they could get out from that huge deal. They need to get him back and get him right. And whether that's to rotate him more and to have Herbig play some more snaps to make sure that he's effective when he's out there and to use him almost kind of more like a DH than to say a first baseman, if you will, and to put him in obvious passing downs more often. And then some of the plays that are just here and there, he can be a little bit more of a specialist. Obviously, he's going to be out there for the majority of the snaps, but you can make sure he's primed and ready to go on obvious passing downs. That's something that the Steelers will have to get right. But just looking at this contract right now, unless you're to say to trade him, TaNeisha, I don't know what kind of value he would have, given that he has a huge deal right now. I'm not saying another team wouldn't want him, but what I am saying is like, you'd be like, oh, well, it's TJ Watt. He would fetch a first rounder. I'm not so certain.
All I'm saying is it's never too early to stop having conversations.
I mean, shoot, I don't trip on conversations. Me personally, it's like, I'm banking on TJ. Why? He had a punctured lung.
I think we should. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying in general. It's like,
I want to see him get back to
Hold on.
Go ahead, Arthur.
Because I look at it like this, right? I love the other side of it where it is very unbiased, where it is very, yes or no, right? And that's what I got from TaNeisha. That's what I got from you, Mark. So it's like, stand on it. Cool. I just look at it differently. I look at it very differently. Why? Because it's like, first off, I've seen what TJ can do. I've seen what he has done. And I've seen if this is quote unquote his bad week, what are we doing? Wasted time here? Oh, yeah. I'm willing to go and bank on that, not doing that again. Because even with that, it's like, bro, once again, I just told you, man, you got a puncture lung. You ever had a puncture lung where you had to get surgery and then you still come back? It's like, that's tough. That's real. That isn't he just sprained his ankle. It's like, bro, we talking about you. We talking about Bree. Are you going to be alive or not? It's like, I'm just looking at that as, man, certain things to me deserve a little bit more grace. So I look at that as the grace part because I still saw you show up in the postseason. That wasn't vintage TJ Watt in the least bit, but did you still give me production? Yes. Was he still giving me splash? Yes. Mark, you remember the Chicago game, right? Splash, right?
Yeah.
Talk about different games this season. Heck, even in the postseason, he had a splash play. It's like, yo, TJ still makes those weird, wacky, splashy, just, man, it's always shining on you. So I just look at it and say, if I know 2028 is when I have my out, quote unquote, the likelihood of me being able to move on from him, right? We can restructure, or you can eat the deal, right? Say, hey, man, we just think we're better without him. I'm not going without it. I'm like, that is crazy, right? Unless something nuclear happens. But I just feel like, man, even if this is the worst version that we're seeing, if this is the regressed version, I don't see that being the case next year. I don't. And I think that we will, if 7 sacks is if that's it's like, yo, he can't get 10 next year. We talking about that and 3 more. If we're
do you think 7 is worth 40 a year?
No, I'm not saying 7 is worth 40, but what I am saying is this though. If we're going to say what the 40 is worth, is the 40 exclusively worth sacks, or is it worth the interceptions? Is it worth the pressures? Is it worth the fact that every single time that you, no, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm giving you context as to it because otherwise it comes off as 40 is equal to sacks.
To the sack. Okay.
And it's not. If it was that, it would be different. It's equal to everything that TJ brings. Yeah. And that's the part where it's like of all the other things, TJ was still giving you some of the other stuff. It was the sack numbers that were down though. And that's the part that I'm looking at. I'm saying that can improve and that will improve. Yeah. But did he not have all the other? That's all I'm saying. When we're looking at the splash, so that's why you pay him 40. You're not paying him that just because he's a great pass rusher. You're paying that because of how he impacts the game, how he makes you as an offense have to chip, slide protection. And what does that do? We said, man, it should open up on the back end, which we've seen. Highsmith thrive, Herbig thrive. It's like, man, that's what TJ does. So that's a part of the 40 is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, and you're between you and I having a conversation, you're 100% right. And I'm aware that other people will listen to this, so the way that they're perceiving it.
No, man, it ain't like that. No.
Yeah. No, I know. I just I think and I can be honest and say when I look historically back at the Steelers, some of just the past things, I think we fall in love with our stars, and I understand it. I'm not saying I bet every program does. It's not just the Steelers. I just happen to be a Steelers fan, so I'm talking about the Steelers. And I think sometimes because we fall in love with them, we act like they're going to be here forever. But the game is going to continue to go. And so it's like sometimes I'm like, now listen, I'm not up here saying tomorrow trade TJ Watt. I am not saying that. That is not. I never said that. What I said, though, is we need to start looking at this for the future, because that is how you build teams. Like, you start to look like, okay, let's just say in the world we live in, what if TJ Watt next year plays the same way he did this year? Would it have benefited us to have just another guy that could kind of step in? Or are we okay with if he gave us the same production this year, it stays the way it is, and then other guys step up this year? The answer to that question, I don't know. But that's why in my mind, I'm like, my third kind of, let's just kind of look at it. Let's just see. Let's dissect it. So I don't want anybody listening to this to be like, she said we need to trade TJ Watt. That is not what I'm saying. No. What I'm saying is, just as a level set, is sometimes I think the obvious answer that none of us want to really think is our answer, because that's our star, that's our guy, that's our money, doesn't mean that we don't just take a second.
And to a degree, though. But all I'm saying is this, though, to a degree, what is Nick Herbig and what is Jack Sawyer? Because they brought in Nick Herbig, and people looked at the Jack Sawyer pickup this year. And it's like, why are you drafting Jack Sawyer? You just paid TJ. It's like, guys, that's what you are doing. Normal. You are accounting for that. That is that plan. It's just, it's a different communication when you're talking about a 4th round Sawyer versus a 1st round pick. When you're looking at some of the other areas, and it's like, how would we feel if we drafted a pass rusher in the 1st round versus a wide receiver?
Right.
or interior D lineman, right? And that's the conversation that you got to be willing to have and be willing to sit with that decision while you still got a $40 million TJ, a Nick Herbig, a Alex Highsmith, and a Jack Sawyer. I'm with it though, in terms of you do have to plan for the future. Otherwise, you get what we have in that quarterback, right? Where it was like, all right, it was good, and now we've fallen off a cliff and we're trying to figure it out and we're scrambling for it. So we don't want that. I'm just under the feeling of, man, it was 19 sacks. Then it went to, was it 11 and a half sacks? Right now we're sitting at 7 sacks. That's going to be the thing. It's like, man, what does next year look like? And I think that to me is going to tell me everything I need to know. That'll tell me, is this the trend that it's the wrong direction completely? And now, hey, we're up is done. Or was this the outlier? Was this, like we talked about, a punctured lung where you have to have emergency surgery in the middle of this thing and you found a way to come back and still played in 14 games? Still gave me some impact. That's the part that I'm looking at.
I respect that.
The pass rush win rate. Nick Herbig was number 1 in the NFL. I think that's important to point out. And with TJ, there are some advanced stats saying he regressed a bit this past season. We'll see what he does in 2026. My top 3. I will go quarterback. I'm with TaNeisha there. Number 2, I'm going running back. I'm going running back over receiver because look at teams that go and win Super Bowls. A lot of times, I mean, they have a good number 2 receiver, but it's like you need a stud number 1, but it's like, I really think they need a chain mover. They need someone, again, I want like an upgraded Najee Harris is what I'm talking about. It's like, I'm not going to go as far to say as I miss Najee on the Steelers. I would not go that far, but someone between the tackles who instills fear in opposing defense where it's like, man, if we don't wrap up, if we don't tackle, and this is going to hurt when we're playing November, December, January football. And then I would go receiver 2. I will say this, of any of those 3 on that list, if they don't go get a receiver 2, I'm just so sick of where it's like, are they going to get Brandon Ayuk? Are they going to get rid of this guy or this guy? Just go get one. Just please go get one for my own sanity. It's a conversation I'm sick of having. But I put receiver at 3. The thing I'm also like, I don't know about, all 3 on my list are all offense. I don't know how I feel about that. So anyways.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, Mark, I do love how just conflicted you made me feel when you were just talking. He's like, yeah, I just don't want to ever hear about this wide receiver situation again to Brandon Ayuk. But running back is number 2. I'm like, bro, what? Why do we do this?
I knew
it's a priority.
I knew Mark was going running back number 2. That's why I said it when he said, I'm like, I knew it was coming because you've kind of been talking about this all year. Like you've kind of made it. Yeah. So
Arthur, weeks ago, we were talking about this. It was in the middle of the season. And with respect to Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell, compared them to Chihuahuas, compared to let's name another dog breed. Like I want a husky. I want a husky as a running back.
Husky versus a German Shepherd versus a French bulldog. All right, that's what we got over here.
Something just with a little bit more.
You don't want a lab. You don't want a lab.
I want a little bit more mass.
Yeah, you want a Rottweiler. I feel you.
Let's go, man. But no, man. I can just dig it, man. I was like, yo. So this tangent about these wide receivers, like, yo, running back though. I need running back. Let's
I
go.
am a little conflicted. I'm conflicted that all 3 of mine are offense, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's the answer either. Arthur, hop in. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No worries, man. So I do agree with both of y'all, man. Quarterback is definitely my priority number 1. From there, though, it's wide receivers. I have a S on the end of mine. Okay, because whether we want to go wide receiver 2 and 3, or whether you want to go wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, I just we need more production from that room. Okay, I don't care how, who, when, where. We need a lot more production from that room. All right, I would just leave it at that. So that's why wide receivers with an S, and I'm emphasizing the S. Don't just bring me 1, and don't you wait out at. I don't want to see 2 rounds go by and we not have such and such wide receiver from whatever. Yeah, I need that. Like I don't want to go pay for that in free agency. because I feel like these wide receivers, you do have a lot more options. You do have a lot more of those guys showing a higher acumen coming in early and playing and producing. So I don't feel like I have to necessarily spin there the way that I taught quarterback or some of these other positions on defense. So quarterback, wide receivers are my second. And then from there, TaNeisha, you might have inspired me at one point, man. I can't remember what show we were on, but you dropped something about our interior D lineman dudes. And I'm like, you know what? I need a D lineman, bro. I need a D lineman. Because Cam, if we're talking TJ Watt declining age, when does that end? How long is Cam going to keep whooping up on Father Time, right? At some point, that's also going to fall off of the cliff. So I need to make sure that I have what I need in there. Love what I have in Derek Harmon. Really, really like what I have in Keanu Benton. After that, I don't feel as confident if Cam is not the Cam that we have seen him be these past couple of seasons. I think that if that isn't out there playing at that level, or if at some point that goes down, it puts our defense on a world of hurt because of the type of inside linebackers that we like to use. We're more speedy, smaller guys versus the big thumpers, right? It is what it is. I feel like I need to have another Derek Harmon type. I need another one of those, or another Keanu Benton type in there. As much as I was a fan of Isaiah Loudermilk, I just don't think his play is consistent enough to give me that type of production after seeing him here for 4 years now. He's developed, but it's still levels to it. So that's why for me, I have D-line as my third thing. I don't want to wait, whether it's free agency. I'm cool with free agency. I think if we're going to spend on a D lineman in free agency, I don't hate that idea, but I do feel like that's one of those needs for us, though.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, it's with Cam Hayward. No, I'm with you, because everything else falls apart. The interior, A gap, B gap. We say it so many times, and it's just like we just take it for granted. Oh yeah, Cam Hayward, all pro season, chalk it up. Add that. The
same way we do with TJ, and it doesn't. And now we're like, whoa.
And we saw, that's true. So
heck, I remember what it was when Derek Harmon wasn't out there early in the season.
Yeah, I was just about to say, do y'all remember
I'm sorry. I kind of got a chance to see what that looked like. Did it
wasn't even so much as like Derek Harmon having crazy stats himself, but you saw how other teams were able to run the football against the Steelers when he wasn't in the lineup.
Anyways, yeah.
So that is definitely how I feel about that right there. I like it. All right.
I have a pin for this show.
Well, look, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Okay.
Recorded.
Let's go. Look, just go back and watch the tape later. Okay. Let's go back and watch the tape later.
Let me write that down.
No.
What are you doing? Anyways, sorry. Creature of habit.
All right. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Now, we are on the back end of this thing officially. Mark, we'd have had you in here. TaNeisha, we'd have had you in here for a while. All right. What y'all got on the back end? Anything? Do we have anything from
Mark?
From the Emmy Award winner, or are we out of here? We put it on Mark, guys. All right, it's always on Mark.
I do have a half-baked idea. The Winter Olympics is on right now, so football season is done and over with. And what I'm thinking, like what my half-baked idea is, so in football, we got a lot of great tight ends playing basketball that didn't really play football, but then the skill set was so similar where it's like, he's a basketball player. No, now he's a football player. Is there another sport out there that would translate to football in the way that basketball has with the tight end position? I know with kicking, the soccer style has gotten on there, but this is inspired, this question I have, by the Winter Olympics. It's like, is there any other crossover or somewhere that's like untapped?
There was,
that
I wish I could remember his name. It was a skier, I thought, that actually played like wide receiver.
Ooh.
Yeah. I want to say with the Eagles too for some reason, man. Golly, man. Oh, I got to go check this out. But I want to say it was a skier. He used to ski, and that was like the only, but I don't know if he was ever like Olympic good, because
Jeremy Bloom.
Is that it? I want to say it was a Jeremy, but I don't know if it's Bloom or not. But it was
Jeremy Bloom. He played
not
for
long
the
ago.
Eagles.
It was like 2000s, right? How long ago was this?
2006. He was
Yeah,
on
okay, I'm
this,
about to say, yeah. I'm
he
not
was
tripping.
on the Steelers practice squad in 07 and 08.
Okay. But listen, he was a Steeler, though, right? I'm not tripping, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
One-time world champion, two-time
Okay.
Olympian, 10-time World Cup gold medalist. He's in the
Okay.
Ski Hall of Fame,
That's
but then
awesome.
he also
Yeah.
played for the Eagles in 06 and then the
Mhm.
Steelers in 07 and 08. Shout out.
That would be
Jeremy
the only.
Bloom.
Yeah, I was
That
like,
and maybe hockey players, because I think hockey players are pretty,
they're
pretty,
athletic, yeah.
pretty
Mhm.
athletic, and they're usually pretty tall, pretty big, pretty
Mhm.
wide,
They're used
depending
to it being
depending on
physical,
what
too.
position. Very physical.
Mhm.
So I would say them. The other there. I'll be honest. I'm not as good as in the Winter Olympics. Sometimes I just watch my TV and I'm like, how are they doing that? But how are the snowboarders? How are they in size and stature?
I don't
Are they
know.
lean?
I feel like,
I can't tell.
like their
Very,
body
very
control
lean.
is nuts, though. Like,
But like I'm just thinking about they just look super athletic. Like
Mhm.
I can't even walk and do some of the things that they're doing. So when I see them on this board, I'm like, are they? I mean, that's obviously
Mhm.
that's athleticism, but I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
their stature. Like, are they usually because
Yeah.
like gymnasts are tiny little humans,
Mhm.
but are they smaller? Are they bigger? So that was the only other sport. But I would go definitely. I would bet my money on probably a hockey player over probably everybody. I think would be my.
Okay. So for me, the reason I'm going to also go with the skiing part, obviously I remembered the Jeremy dude, right? But I think of just this correlation. Man, Marquise Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin, Olympian, triple jumper, long jumper.
Shout out to the
Was my
University
wide
of-
receiver up in Buffalo. Shout out to Tex dude, right? But he's a tiny dude. But
Mhm.
his skill set is I have elite speed, I have elite level jumping ability, I have body control, right? And his hand-eye coordination. So it's not necessarily about can Marquise
Good one.
handle, the contact and things like that. Is can his skill set translate? And if so, can we maximize that? And you're not going to put Marquise as a running back or as a linebacker. It's like, no, we didn't want you tackling people. Go out here and go catch these passes, man. On occasion, run back some kickoffs. It's like, if we're looking at these downhill skiers, we're looking at these speed skaters, like fast is fast, man. You can't skate fast if you're not really fast. You feel me? Like you gotta have that in your quick twitch, your hand-eye, your anticipation. So
Fair.
to act like for me, I just look and I say, man, if you're a great athlete, you're a great athlete. And the same way I feel about my athleticism, I think, yeah, I've seen my thing translate in certain spaces. I can't sit here and act like a world-class athlete with world-class God-given ability. Also with some proper training and education, can't do this as well. I just think that, they got somebody over there. Somebody.
Okay, well, listen, Steelers legend.
Don't you do me like that. Don't you do me like that.
Can you ski down a hill in
So-
coordination?
Honestly, I have zero doubt that I could. Will I is a different conversation. I probably will never do it for two reasons.
Okay.
I don't enjoy being up high just for the sake of being up high. So
Oh,
the
okay.
whole get on the ski lift and just ride up to the top of the
Fair.
mountains, to go jump down the mountain is like, that doesn't
Fair.
really appeal. That's not like interesting to me. But
Okay.
the other thing is, yeah, it's just a higher injury rate. So if I know this is something that I'm going to be learning, right? Or it's a learning curve, regardless of that, it's like you still have to go through it. And I was actually going to ask you this, Mark. I was thinking of you when they were showing Lindsey Vonn and they were showing a couple of other ladies that have gotten hurt.
Mhm.
Summer Olympics, when those people get injured, it's a pulled muscle. When they get injured in the Winter Olympic, it's a full knee, leg. They said the one chick had
Blow it out.
40. So I'm like, yo, how many surgeries? I'm like, yo, how do you have a leg? They're like, yeah, they had to do this part of the surgery. Then they had to connect this part back to this part. Then this,
It's
it looked
crazy.
like she got bit by a shark. I'm like, and she just fell. She was just skiing down. I'm like,
Wasn't
what?
she going like 70 miles an hour, 40 miles an
Yeah,
hour? Or something like that?
yeah. I'm like, yo, this
yeah.
is nuts though.
It's
But it's like to see some of this stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the part for me where that's not fun.
You're good on that.
That's that at this stage of my life, that's not a risk that I'm willing to take, man.
Pat Ford, who's a columnist for Sports Illustrated, Mizzou alum, shout out. He had a great column about Lindsey Vonn's injury, saying how pretty much every single other member of the U.S. team has had some sort of substantial leg injury when it comes to the ski team. So it's not just Lindsey Vonn, but it's like,
And it's not
this
just
one had
Team
a broken
USA.
ankle. This
It's
one
not
had
just
an
Team USA.
ACL. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
in pretty much everyone on the U.S. team at some point in their careers have had a significant leg injury of some sort to be able to compete at that high of a level. They're going that fast. They're contorting themselves in a way that it's just like, I mean, Arthur, when I was in Canada on my sabbatical, I was probably going 40, 50 miles per hour tops. They're going 70 or 80 miles per hour
and
when they're going down
hard, left, hard, right. I'm like, do I feel like I can ski? Yes. Can I snowboard? Yes. I'm coordinated. I feel like I can surf. There's a lot of things I feel very confident in myself doing. But the desire to put myself in that position is like, man, I'm
Arthur,
at the stage of my
it.
life where we really, it's just a lot of risk, Is this the risk we really want to take at this stage right now?
What I would tell anyone, at least with skiing or snowboarding, take a lesson if you've never done it before. It's all the technique.
Mark, don't lie to these people. If y'all want to know how to ski, watch South Park. Pizza, French fries. It's that simple, guys. All right? That's all you need to know.
Pizza and French fries sounds so good right now. Oh my gosh. I want some pizza and French
Talking
fries.
about skiing, fast food. Who knows here on the Arthur Moats experience?
Yeah. I just want that right now. And a Pepsi. That'd be great. Okay. This isn't about me.
Arthur, you can watch my GoPro video. I shot some 4K I'll send to you, and you can live vicariously through my endeavors.
Is it on your Instagram?
I haven't posted the 4K footage. I haven't, not yet. It will get there eventually. But I put together a YouTube video.
I'm a big live vicariously guy. Okay, I do it a lot. It's a lot of people like I live through that. Like you see me, I was DM you the whole time. Every time you put something, I'm like, yo, this is fire. Oh, this is dope. This is cool. I like this. Heart emoji, fire emoji. Like, yeah, man. Now when I get up there with probably not FaceTime me. All right, I'm with you.
My mom watched the video and she was like, I was surprised you didn't crash into anyone. I thought you were going to the whole time. I'm like, well, how would I posted the video then? Like, come on,
I love that.
Oh man.
I like it.
That's my half baked today. Not my greatest ever, but
man, I loved it, man.
We're all great, Mark.
And it's current as we're watching the Olympics, man. Let's go.
Anytime I can use my brain, it's a great one. So I always appreciate them.
Well,
so
I'll say this: we got a Jeremy Bloom shout out. So shout out to you, Arthur, because I had no idea of who he was as both a football player and as a skier. And he went to Colorado too, so that's probably how he was able to do that.
That was the other part.
I remember.
Yes,
this is a learning experience. This is a learning environment. That's what we're here for learning. I love that. Sign me up for that any day.
Go. And look, teamwork. All right, teamwork. So
I love it.
On the back end, do we have any final words before I start giving the rundown? All right, because y'all know how I do my rundowns. All right, so y'all just let me know. I got a final word.
Can I add one more thing to the Jeremy Bloom thing? Can I add one more thing?
What you got, baby? Yeah.
He is the brother to Molly Bloom. Molly Bloom is, if you've either seen the book or the movie Molly's Game, he's the brother, which, there you go.
It is.
Arthur, you taught me something new today that I didn't know. But sorry, TaNeisha, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're totally fine. I don't have, my closing thoughts are very simple. If you cannot stand on business, give up the obligation, give it up. Give up the requirement, give up the time. We shouldn't have to expect you to do your job well and you fail to do your job well when other guys are on the field running, literally risking their lives every play to make tackles, touchdowns, risking family time, risking all of that. If you can't stand on business by your decision and tell us your why, you don't deserve to vote for somebody being in the Hall of Fame. That's it. That's how I feel. Thanks for being here, everyone. Go ahead, Mark.
Closing thoughts. I get that the Hall of Fame's always tough too, but they didn't get it right this year. Just straight up. They did not get this class right. And I don't want that to diminish for anyone who was voted in because they're very deserving. But again, living in a world where Bill Belichick's not a Hall of Famer, Robert Kraft's not a Hall of Famer, I think we hit the nail on the head with that conversation. So shout out to both of you for that. And we're a day closer to the start of free agency too, to where you get some of these questions start to get answered. And to me, we talked ad nauseum today. I am very curious to see how the Aaron Rodgers decision plays out, how long that plays out for, because it's really going to influence what the Steelers do, not just in free agency, potentially the draft. You want to make sure you can get that sorted and figured out and have an answer, because that decision is going to impact so much else for the Steelers this offseason.
Let's go, man. We just getting started. I'm so excited, man. Shout out to y'all. So with that being the case, y'all know the drill. Like button, subscribe, notification bell. And since Valentine's Day was over the weekend, hopefully everybody had a good time out there with the people that they love, or, the people that don't want to be around. All right. But either way, hopefully everybody was good. And this panel was for all the lovers out there. All right. So shout out to the lovers. All right. But with that being the case, y'all stay safe. And until next time, peace.
Bye.